When we think about the future, we often picture parliaments and public debates deciding the path forward. But what if I told you that in 2026, our future isn't really being decided there at all? It's being architected inside a handful of corporate boardrooms by a very small group of people. To really understand who holds the keys, we have to start with a pretty stark prediction that was made on the world stage.
Okay, get ready for this one. 50% of white-collar jobs will disappear in 5 years. Just let that sink in for a minute. That's not a line from some dystopian sci-fi movie. Nope, that is a direct quote from one of the most powerful people on the planet right now.
So, where did this bombshell of a quote come from? The scene was Davos, January 2026. And the speaker? Well, he's one of just 5 men who are, quite literally, defining the next era of human history. We're calling them the 5 kings of AI. And let's be crystal clear about this. This is not some kind of distributed grassroots revolution. The immense world-altering power of AI is incredibly concentrated. It's in the hands of just 5 CEOs: Dario Amodei of Anthropic, Dimas Hassabis at Google DeepMind, Elon Musk running xAI, Mark Zuckerberg over at Meta, and of course, Sam Altman from OpenAI. So this all leads to the central question of this whole explainer, and it's one we all really need to be asking. If these 5 men are the ones defining the future of AI, who or what defines their limits? To even begin to answer that, we've got to meet them. Let's start with the first king.
First up, we have Dario Amodei of Anthropic. Now, he's a fascinating character. He's kind of like the cautious prophet of the group, a philosopher who is at the very same time predicting one of the biggest economic disruptions in modern history.
Just look at the contrast here. Amodei is 42, and he runs Anthropic, a company valued at a staggering $380 billion. His whole guiding philosophy is something he calls constitutional AI. It's an attempt to build ethical principles right into his models. And yet, this is the very same man who got on stage and predicted half of all white-collar jobs are about to go poof. And this is the core conflict of his work, right? His strategy is aiming for AI to replace software developers within a year and achieve Nobel-level science in just 2. But the risks aren't hypothetical. They are very much here and now. The Pentagon has already flagged his company as a national security risk. His tools were actually used in that big government hack in Mexico, and his own predictions point toward massive, widespread unemployment. So if Amodei is our cautious prophet, our next king, Dimas Hassabis, has a completely different vibe. He has a much more expansive, almost optimistic vision. If Amodei is the philosopher, Hassabis is the brilliant scientist who's on a mission to solve, well, pretty much everything.
At 49, Hassabis isn't just the CEO of Google DeepMind. He's also a Nobel laureate. He won the prize for chemistry back in 2024. He was the first AI researcher to ever win a scientific Nobel. He also advises the UK government, which puts him smack in the middle of this intersection of science, massive corporate power, and politics.
His grand strategy is something he calls the Omni model. The idea is a single AI that can see, hear, and physically act in the world, and he wants to integrate it into every single Android phone and Chrome browser. So what are the risks? Well, for one, that's a near total monopoly on how we experience the internet. He's also lost a lot of his own company's independence inside of Google. And he's the one sounding the alarm on the geopolitical race, warning everyone that China is only about 6 months behind. So while Hassabis is working within the Google empire, our third king is busy building his own from the ground up. Elon Musk isn't just trying to build an AI model, he's building a fully integrated planet-spanning AI empire. At 54, Musk's company, xAI, is owned by SpaceX. Now, that part is crucial. It creates what you'd call a full-stack loop, from orbital data centers in space all the way down to his Grok model running in Tesla cars and on the X platform. And then you have his Terafab project, which is designed to build a terawatt of AI compute. To put that in perspective, that's 10 times the capacity of all global data centers combined in 2025. This vertical integration is his whole masterstroke, but the risks are absolutely staggering. Terafab's energy demand is the same as several nuclear power plants. He's got these profound conflicts of interest running Tesla, SpaceX, and X all at once. And the rivalry in this space is boiling over. It's getting dangerously personal, like when he wrote that furious blog post after the physical attack on a competitor's home. All right, from an industrial empire builder to our fourth king, Mark Zuckerberg. Now, his is a story of a colossal failure, followed by a stunningly aggressive pivot. He lost $80 billion on the metaverse, and then he found AI. After the metaverse dream died, Zuckerberg at 41 didn't retreat. He went on the attack. He spent over $14 billion to buy up nearly half of Scale AI. That's the company that labels the data used to train all these AI models. Then, he hired its founder to be Meta's very first chief AI officer.
So his strategy is pretty clear. Control the entire AI supply chain, from the raw data all the way to the llama models. And why does this matter so much? Because Meta's algorithms already control the information feeds of 3 billion people. Now you add in the rise of all this low-quality AI-generated slop that's polluting the internet, and you realize that a company with a, let's say, shaky record on privacy now has the most powerful data analysis tools ever created.
And finally, that brings us to our fifth king, Sam Altman of OpenAI. He's the face of the AI revolution. He's arguably the most famous name in AI right now, but his reign has been marked by just intense drama and controversy. I mean, Altman's journey has been a complete roller coaster. He was famously fired and then rehired by his own company. And in a terrifying escalation of this whole thing, his home was actually attacked with fire in April of 2026. So now all eyes are on his mystery project, which is codenamed Spud. You can tell Altman is under immense pressure. He needs Spud to be a massive success to reclaim market share from Google and Anthropic. But the risks are severe. There are still lingering governance issues inside his company. There's this increasing dependence on Microsoft. And then there's the terrifying new reality that this AI race is now attracting actual physical violence. That is a dangerous new precedent. Okay, let's put it all together. Think of this as the 2026 Power Scorecard. You've got Modi focused on safety, Hassabis on science, Musk is all about raw scale, Zuckerberg is focused on his billions of users, and Altman is chasing the ultimate prize, AGI, or artificial general intelligence. Their user reach varies, but every single one of them carries a unique, world-scale risk. Now, let's just zoom out for a second. Having this much power in so few hands, it isn't all bad. It does lead to faster innovation, massive investment, and fierce competition. But the disadvantages are, well, they're terrifying. We're talking tech monopolies, total information control, national security threats, and a profound lack of accountability to the public. Which leads us to a critical question. Can governments actually regulate these guys? The reality is, it's incredibly difficult. These are multinational corporations, and the technology is evolving way, way faster than any legislation possibly could. By the time a law is passed, the whole game is already changed. So if governments can't keep up, we arrive at what might be the philosophical question of our century. Who guards the guardians? Who watches the watchmen? International bodies are too slow. Self-regulation? That requires a level of trust that, frankly, may not be warranted. Public pressure can work, but is it really enough? And that leaves us right here. The future these 5 men are building isn't just their future, it's ours. It's going to affect every single aspect of our lives. So the ultimate question isn't just about them, it's about us. What should our role be in shaping it? That is the conversation we all need to be having, and we need to be having it right now.